Hey girl, it's They Want Shy, and I'm back with another episode of my podcast, They Want the Real, because they do. And if you want the real, then I'm here to give it to you. Like that. Alright, y'all. So today we have episode 6. Episode 6 is going to be real simple because I've been out. I know I've been ghosting y'all, but it's because I've been busy. I've been working. I've been trying to post on all platforms. I've been trying to put myself out there. I have major plans, major moves coming up, and y'all gonna see it all happening. So just bear with me, trust the process, and just know that I won't steer you in the wrong direction. Trust the process, y'all. Alright, episode 6 is just gonna be a mental health check-in because we need to know how I've been since I've been gone. I've been gone for like a month, right? So we need to check in on me, check in on my mental, because I want to check in on your mental. I think my people watching football games, so if y'all hear them in the background, they're watching football game. All right. To begin this little podcast, I know y'all can't really answer me, but the questions are for me and for you. So while I'm doing my mental health check-in, you can be doing your mental health check-in for yourself, recognizing what you need to recognize, handling those situations, and moving forward. All right. We're going to start off with asking myself, how am I? And I'm going to answer in all 5 different categories, being mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. So yeah, we're going to ask myself the 5 different categories, and I'm going to answer them. Mentally, I'm very intuitive. I trust every thought that comes to my head, and that's where I go from there. Emotionally, I feel like I'm not really in a place where I'm emotionally stable because it's so hard in this day and age to get your point across and for your feelings to be valid and for your point to like really be understood. That's really hard in this day and age, just to get somebody to understand you without showing no emotion. So like without showing anger, without showing anything. So it's hard to really get through to people. So that's why it's hard for me to control my emotions. So I would consider myself emotionally unstable. Physically, I'm fine as fuck. You see me? Girl, what? Is that even a question? Financially rich as fuck. Bitch, is that even a question? Sorry, y'all, but seriously. Spiritually, I'm very much so tapped in more than I've ever been, and I love that for myself. I really do. I love that for myself. When I'm overwhelmed, I pray. When I'm angry, I pray. When I feel like something's not going right and it could be going better, I pray. And every time I pray, I find a way out. Whether it's just that thought, finding a way to get that thought out of my head, or just working around it. God really finds, he gives me a way every time. Like I say, he finds a way. He gives me a way. And just listening to that, listening to my intuition, and listening to my prayers, and understanding that my prayers are being heard and answered, and I'm seeing it in 4K that, you know, he hears me. So that's my methods to my madness. All right. Next, if I could describe myself in one word, what would it be? Outgoing. I would say outgoing. I would definitely say outgoing because I'm definitely the type of person and the type of friend that, like, I just always want everyone to be outgoing as well. Like, even if that's not your personality trait, that's not something that you consider yourself like outgoing, maybe you consider yourself standoffish, I still try so hard to get you to become outgoing. Because I know females, and girl, we are all outgoing. When behind closed doors, we're all crazy. We all have fun. We all no wig, jumping around a bed, shaking booty, like all of that. We all do that. So I know that it's no girl out here that's really standoffish. Girl, you really outgoing. You just need the right person to get it out of you. So when I get around everybody, I try to get that out of you because I know we love the days when we just could be ourselves and shake some ass, right? All right. I actually watched this. My podcast script has been written for like a month already. I watched another local podcast or whatever that's coming up in my city, and I realized that they asked some of the questions that I had written down for me to ask myself. But that can't steer you off of your path. Like I be explaining to y'all, it can't steer you off your path. So we're gonna keep going with our podcast script, and so be it. Okay, my question was, who is childhood shy? And if you've seen my mama trauma episode, then I hinted a little bit on who childhood shy was, and so that's why I had this question to come back on that and to give y'all more details on who I was as a child. But I didn't really want to come on here and even still ask the question after I seen it somebody. All right, personally, I wouldn't consider my childhood to be rough. I wouldn't consider it to be rough because I had birthday parties, I had a nice outfit, my mama kept me together, so I would not consider it to be rough in that aspect. My childhood was rough emotionally, like I hinted in my mama trauma episode. So, and because I didn't let a lot of things that was affecting me as a child, as a person, affect me to other people. All right, let me just get into detail, because when I start throwing myself off mentally, I feel like I just got to give more details on it. So what I'm trying to say is, it's me growing up, I went through a lot, but I never put my situations onto other people. So what was happening to me, I understood everybody else got their own thing going on. So I never really wanted to get around people and to treat them badly, because it's like, oh well, this is what's going on with me and you just happy. Like I never was that person. I never even cared honestly about what I was actually going through. So childhood shy was happy. She was friendly. She made friends everywhere she went, y'all. Everywhere I went, I made friends. I kid you not, I made friends. Whether it was an imaginary friend, a real friend, a bully that I turned into a friend, whatever it was, I made a friend. And that has always been me. I've always been friendly. I've always been outgoing. I've always poured into people. That's always been me. That is childhood shy. Yes, that's very much childhood shy. She was very ambitious though. Anything she had in her head that she wanted to do, she tried it. And anything still till now, anything, I'm very ambitious still. So that's some things that hasn't changed about me. One of the main things I'll say about growing up that I didn't agree with, what childhood shy was, and that I understand more or less now. Growing up, I hated being told what I could and couldn't wear in the house. I hated it. Because I felt like if I'm in the house with someone that you feel like people tell me to change in front of, should they really be in this house? That's how I felt. So that was one of the big things. And then growing up, I felt like because we would always get told to change in front of men or whatever, I just felt like all men were here to sexualize you. I felt like every man in this world just was here to sexualize you, because why every man gotta look at you like that? You could never just be around a man and it's just chill vibe, it's cool, he's not even looking you in that way. It's always a man is always looking you in that way. What the fuck? I got scared. But I realized that a man is always gonna look at you in that way, and that's something that I learned from childhood shy. I really don't want to read off of this because y'all see how I keep looking over here. How do I feel about the older version of myself now that I'm older and I can look back at the childhood version of myself? Honestly, y'all, I feel like there's not really a big change from the childhood me, because she's definitely still there. She's just an adult now. She's grown now. But looking back, I would say that I wish I would have continued to be who I was. I'm gonna be honest, middle school and high school is really what changed me into the person that I am now, because I started to meet more fake friends. I started to meet more, started to get introduced to more fake family members and all type of stuff. So going through life with other people that's going through life, it changes you. And I wish that it didn't change me as much as it did, because I would have loved to have been childhood me up until now. I hate that I had gaps where I could really pinpoint and look back and be like, that I wasn't myself at that time. I wasn't myself at this time. I wasn't myself at this time. I feel like I wish that I could have been myself throughout, because I feel like I will already be on my path now. I will already be, where I want to be, had I've always focused on myself and been in my full potential and just giving my all. I just feel like I really could be better, But we all could be better. It's always room for change. It's always room for more. It's always room for change. Like, it's always room for better. So don't ever think that what you're doing can't be topped. Don't ever think that, because somebody out there can top you. They probably will top you, but that don't mean that they're doing it how you doing it, girl. No. And that don't mean that they're gonna get the same attention that you're gonna get from it. That don't mean that they're gonna get the same. You just can't think about everybody else. Just understand that there's people that can do it better, but know that can't nobody do it better than you. Understand that. All right. Oh, this is a good one, y'all. And this I know a lot of people kind of probably want to know this. How did the death of my grandmother affect me? Hard. It affected me hard because my grandmother was one of those people that I didn't have to say a word to. She knew everything. And I personally feel like that's why God knew I needed her to watch over me way more than I needed her in Texas. Like, I don't want to cry, but he knew that. He definitely knew that, because like she was one of those people that she just knew, girl. I didn't have to tell my grandmother nothing. I give y'all know I love a good story time, love a good example, and hopefully that's gonna make me stop crying. But basically, I went by my grandmother one vacation or whatever, because we will always go by my grandmother every year, like once a year at least. This year we went by my grandmother, and growing up, y'all, I always had like a real bad bladder problem. We never knew where it came from. We never knew where it came from. Oh my God, I'm really crying. We never knew where it came from. It just came out of the blue. And I went out of town with my grandmother. Well, I went out of town with my mom and them, and you know, they brought my grandmother, and I was hurting down there, and I told my grandmother, and she brought me in the room, and she was listening to because I already had like a little routine that, you know, I gave myself, like, you know, my parents and them gave me for my bladder problem. So like, yeah, I don't want to get that much detail, but whatever. Putting a warm towel, taking a shower, sitting down in the tub, stuff like that, right? But when I told my grandmother that my private part was hurting me, and I told her it was a bladder problem, it was nothing else I had to say to that lady. It was nothing else. She knew what the heck was going on. She knew why the heck I had a bladder problem. It didn't have to be explained. It was understood. It didn't have to be explained, and she knew. And I loved the hell out of her for that. And from that day on, she was so protective of me, because she just knew, and she never asked me no questions, and she never got an answer, and she never got it confirmed, but she just knew. And I just gotta love her for that. And I was so young when she actually passed, and it hurted me, but it didn't hurt me. But now that I'm older and I can look back, it hurts. Especially when you feel like that's the only person that seen you and knew shit about you without you saying nothing. It hurt. Girl, let me stop crying, because it hurt. I'll be one talking about my grandmother though. But girl, my grandmother's still here. I still hear her voice in my head. She be talking to me for real, for real. Oh my God. What the heck? I'm crying. Cut the cameras. I still feel like my grandmother's here with me. She's literally still watching with me. I feel her presence all the time. In moments like this, when I'm thinking about her and I'm crying about her, I literally feel her over my shoulders. And like, just sometimes I feel like weight on my forehead. I don't know, y'all might think I'm crazy, but I just feel the presence of my grandmother all the time. So that gets me through the depth of her, because her grandmother passed away a long time ago, y'all. 2008. So I think it was 2008 or 2010. I'm gonna fact check myself, because I definitely don't want to be wrong about that. Correct, the fact that it's on my phone. It was 2010. So like I said, my grandmother passed away, you know, when I was really young or whatever. And yeah, so that hurted me. It did. But it definitely, sometimes deaths of people that we lost when we was young affects us more when we're older, because now you really looking at like what that person could have done. Like, you know, my grandmother could have been my baby, all type of stuff. So like, you just really sometimes it affects you way worse when you're older than it did when it first happened, because you probably wasn't even old enough to understand when it first happened. And now, you know, you're older and you're looking at everybody who got, you know, their grandparents and stuff like that, and you're like, dang, you know. But even if you lost somebody else that's not a grandparent and you feel like you didn't cope with it at the time and that's why you're not on your right path, yeah, girl, that's the issue. That's the issue. You didn't cope with it then, and it's because you was too young to cope through it, period, you know. And granted, you were still hurt about it, and that's why you still have the feelings, but you never actually healed and dealt with the situation. So that's why it's on your mind so heavy, you know. And if you did lose somebody, talk to that person out loud. You don't need no damn reader. You don't need no spiritual person, none of that. Girl, get on your knees and pray to God. And when you're done praying to God, you talk out loud to who you want to talk to, whether they're here or not. And I promise you they will get that message. Y'all take that how y'all want to take that. That's just what I do. This is what I do. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, I cried. I had to cry out that question. Let's skip that. All right. Seeing me cry and stuff like that, it goes on to my next question being, does my perspective of God changes when times get hard? No. It did before, and which is why I was always off of my path at so many different times, because yeah, when times got hard, I always questioned God. That was the first thing I did, because everybody tell us that God does this, God does that, God does this, God does that, and like I told y'all in the other episode, why me? I never understood why me. So when times got hard, then of course I questioned God. Who didn't question God as soon as something happened? Say, God, why me? Why me? Why did you decide to take this person from me? Why did you decide to put me through this? Why did I have to, you know, not get the family aspect? Why did it have to be me? So I did definitely let my perspective of God be changed before. But as far as now, no, it's nothing you can tell me about God. It's nothing you can tell me about me. It's nothing you can tell me about my ancestors, spirit guides, angels, anything. It's nothing you can tell me about what I got in my head. My beliefs are my beliefs, and it can't be changed anymore. And if you disagree with them, that's 100% fine. I'm not mad at that. I'm not going to go against you, because we all can have different beliefs. But I will still speak loudly about my beliefs. So don't think just because you tell me that you don't believe in what I believe in, that when I get around you, you say you don't believe in God. So now you think that when I get around you, I'm not going to pray. Girl, no, I'm still for the pray. I'm still gonna pray as soon as you go over that bridge, girl. I'm still gonna cross my heart as soon as we make it over. Yes, I am, because that's just me. It's just me. And you gotta always be yourself. You can't let the people around you change you from being who you are, because you get drifted off of your path and you forget who you are. And you can't do that. I don't forget who I am. I'm that bitch. Been that bitch will forever be. Yeah, got it. All right. And I really do want to read from this, because some of the questions I did answer and I have really good answers. So I want to read from here. On my paper, I wrote, heck no. Once in my entire life, basically what I said, I did. And immediately God showed me that he's here and that everything that he does is for a reason. And he also reassured me that he does not play about me. And those people will get karma for messing with me. And yeah. And when I thought I was losing and I couldn't understand what was going on, he gifted me with patience, abundance, a strong intuition, and knowledge. Yeah. Every time I questioned God, he showed me, he gave me something that gave me a reason to not question him. So like I would question, why am I not stable? Next thing you know, I'm gaining some type of stability in some aspect, whether it's with my business, whether it's what was with my job, whatever it was. Anytime I went to God and questioned about something, the answer came back to me, but not in the form of what you would think. Like you would think, oh, you prayed for stability and $20,000 come to your bank account. No, it wasn't like that, y'all. It wasn't like that for me. It was like I prayed for stability, and the next day I get 1 order, and then in 2 days I get 3 orders. And in 4 days, I get 5 orders. It was just, I gained stability within my business. So it was just things that just like I prayed for, I got it. And God gave me no reason but to trust him. I had to, you know. He showed me. And that's when I realized that God is really the key to survival. And God is the greatest gift that we was all blessed to have. He really is, y'all. The fact that we're able to just pray to somebody and get an answer, understand how good we got it. You know? You might got to go through some struggles and go through some things in your life, but the fact that to get through that, all you have to do is pray. Girl, go pray. Go pray. Go pray, literally. And you know, once you pray, don't only pray when you want something, and don't only pray when you need something, and don't only pray when you want forgiveness. Pray for everything, y'all. That's what I'm trying to get on here and tell y'all. Pray for everything. Everything. Pray for forgiveness. Pray for thanks. Sometimes get on your knees and just say, thank you, God. Get on your knees, say your entire prayer, and at the end of your prayer, just say, God, I just came to you today to thank you. But thank you for waking me up. Thank you for getting me through the day. Whether you had a bad day or a good day, you got through that day. Some people didn't wake up to this day, period. Some people did not wake up on December 21st, 2024. But I did. So I gotta pray. I gotta thank God for that. You should too. All right. Woo! Advice for the ladies trying to find their path, trying to find guidance, trying to find, you know, an answer. The advice I can give y'all is, number 1, trust God. Number 2, pray. Number 3, understand you come first. Advice for the ladies would be, understand your path isn't the next person's path. You have your own journey, your own mission, and your own path. Don't get caught up in another person's path and throw yourself off of yours, because it's going to take way longer to find yourself journey in your own path. Always trust that voice in your head, because that voice in your head is your spirit guides, it's your ancestors, and sometimes even guides speaking to you through your intuition, through your different emotions. And even if they haven't made it to the physical, understand that you are still getting blessed. You're probably getting blessed in the spiritual realm and it haven't reached the physical yet, but you self-sabotage it, so now it won't even make it to the physical because you felt like God was taking too long, so you did something to make it come faster. Like let's say you just got a feeling that, like me, I got a feeling that a lot of money coming, and I go bet $500 on a bet thinking that the money gonna come from the bet. Girl, clown. Like you was a clown. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Understand that God, he's coming. If you pray to him, girl, he's coming. Those blessings are coming. Don't rush it. Don't sabotage it. Don't knock it. Understand that God is coming. Yeah. And then always trust that God can get you out of any situation, because that's literally how I'm a better person now. I understand that God can get me out of any situation. Okay. How would I describe the new version of Shy? I really would just describe the new version of Shy very much spiritual. She's very much more spiritual. Everything else is kind of the same as childhood Shy. But I'm more spiritual, very much locked in, very much will sit here and talk to my ancestors before I talk to y'all. Very much will sit down and pray before I get on YouTube and Instagram and all of that. Now I've changed in that way, and I needed to. It's a good change. It's not a bad change. If you can change and to become more spiritual, I want to push you to do that too, because it helps. We feel better. We look better. Y'all see me glowing every day. So just trust God. Trust your prayers. Yeah. A question I have is, what has to die in us for us to reach our full potential? And the answer to that is fear. Fear has to die in us. Fear and worry. We have to stop worrying about what people would think, what people would say, how people gonna look at us. We have to stop worrying about that and just focus on us, because somebody gonna like it. Somebody gonna like it. There could be 10,000 people in line that hate you, and one person just like, you know what? I kind of like you. And that's enough for me, and that's enough for you. It should be enough for you. You don't have to people please 10,000 people just to make them like you, because when that one person comes, that's probably the realest person in the line. That's the realest person in the line. You so worried about the 10,000 people that don't like you. You ain't even giving attention to the person that actually do. You could really get this person to be your biggest supporter, because they the only one that really like you. Why do you want to try to push 10,000 people that don't like you to be a supporter of you? No, go for the people that actually like your content, girl. Go for the people that like what you're doing. Go for the people that is admiring you. Go for the people that's inspired by you. Go for those people. Don't go at the people that don't really care for you, know they're not fine. That's like me with my city. I would never try to promote me to my city. They wouldn't support me for real. They would not support me for real. So it's that type of situation, y'all. You can't have fear and worry of it, because even though I know that the people in my city ain't gonna really support me how I would really support them, because girl, I watch their YouTube videos. If you a new nail tech in town, you post, I will go get my nails done like you, girl. You probably mess up my set and everything, I'm still gonna just support you just because that's just me. But yeah, you can't have fear, and don't let nobody knock you off. Like, don't let nobody knock your thoughts off from being your highest self. Next. On a paper I wrote, having fear creates stagnancy. Trying to be in control of your life is an illusion. Allow God to be in control. Allow God to lead you on your path, and don't stress. Because stressing burping is confirmation. Stressing creates stagnancy, and we don't want to be stagnant. We want to move forward. We want to keep driving. We don't want our brakes to go out. We want to keep going. We want to put our best effort into it. Like, we want to really reach the finish line and complete in first. So don't worry, don't be fearful, and don't stress. Trust God, trust yourself, and trust your intuition. You're going to be good. All right. Also, I put that we're all still healing, still figuring it out. So don't ever look at the next person and try to feel like this person is either doing better than you, or maybe you need to get some advice from this person, or maybe you need to understand this person, copy this person, follow this person. Understand we are all still healing. We're all going through our journeys. You're healing every day. I promise you're going to be healing every day, because you could heal from something and then tomorrow something else happened. You just spotted another trauma, another emotion that you have to heal from. So you're healing every day. So understand, you can't go at another person that's healing for advice on healing, because we're all healing, girl. Don't be selfish. Heal yourself. Pray. Go to God, because that's what we're going to. We're going to God. I'm not putting my problems on nobody. I put my problems onto God. That's it. Next. What's something that, hold on. All right. What's something that I would change about the older version of myself that I feel would help me reach my full potential? My abandonment issues, guys. Definitely my abandonment issues. When I stop blocking people and abandoning people out of my life for absolutely no reason, or for the littlest reason in the world, I'm going to know that I'm fully healed. But as of right now, I am not fully healed. I abandon people all day. You could throw me off one time and I never speak to you again. And I understand that that actually hurts people, because I'm a very genuine person. So imagine losing a very genuine person over, something so little. So I really do want to heal from that and become a better person in that aspect when it comes down to my abandonment issues. On this paper, I wrote my abandonment issues. So how do I know when to set boundaries, and what does setting boundaries look like to me? I know when to set boundaries because I'm going to feel uncomfortable. And it's not a joke to where it's like, oh, you're crossing my boundaries. It's not a joke. It's really not. In situations where I feel uncomfortable and I feel like my boundaries are being crossed, and how do I know when to set my boundaries and what does setting my boundaries look like? I'm just going to give you an example of story time. Y'all know I love a good story connection. Well, I went to this party recently with an old coworker, and when I walked to the party, it was a whole bunch of men. It was a whole bunch of dudes. It was a sausage party. And as soon as I walked through the door, I felt overwhelmed. I'm like, whoa, oh my God, there's a lot of niggas up in here. So I was still trying to make myself be comfortable, still trying to be myself, and even though I was a little bit uncomfortable. Well, one of the dudes, he was like on my body real bad, but why not? Look at me. I'll be on my body too. But he on my body real bad, and he was trying to flirt with me and stuff. So I ended up going outside, and as he's flirting, he tried to touch my shoulder. I don't even know if he was trying to touch my shoulder or hug me. I don't know which one, but I jerked away. What were you doing? And he was like, what? I can't touch you. I was like, no, you really can't. You can't. I really don't want you to touch me. You gonna make me not even want to have a conversation with you no more. It's cool that you flirting and that you trying to give me, you showing me your ribs and shit, but don't touch me. That I gotta put my boundaries up now. Don't touch me. And setting boundaries looks like to me like this. I told him, you're crossing my boundaries by touching me. And he said, what? I said, yes. Like, I don't want to be touched. I don't really know you like that. You don't really know me like that. I don't really think that you should want a random girl, you know, just, I don't think that's not right. We're not going to do that. And so he was like, little do you know, you just made me want you 10 times more than I did before. The fact that you not like any other girl, you not just going for nothing. Like, you like, if you want to say no, you're going to say no. You told me don't touch you, you standing on that. Don't touch me. You look like I done gave you the ick now that I done touch you. And it was real, y'all. I just don't want to be touched. I will be so, girl, y'all don't want to see my reaction when somebody touch me. I'd be so icked out. I don't like to be touched. But yeah, setting boundaries looks like to me literally just showing that person that they're making you feel uncomfortable and letting them know that they're making you feel uncomfortable because they're crossing one of your boundaries. You don't prefer to be touched, so that's how I'm gonna touch you. And I promise you, that nigga still gonna want you. He's still gonna try to, you know, do what he do. A nigga still gonna be a nigga. But don't put yourself down. Don't let no man touch on your thighs the first time you'll meet out. I'm gonna pop your hand like a baby. You gonna think like a baby pop. Like pop. It's gonna be fast too. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Next, I did write something about boundaries versus ego that I wanted to pinpoint on a little bit. Setting boundaries for the right reason and not because of ego. Before you set the boundaries, ask yourself why for a better understanding and to be sure. Because you don't want to set boundaries because you think that somebody is triggering you or because somebody is triggering you. And in that case, y'all see how that situation that I just gave y'all was a clear example of me needing to set boundaries. Or he probably would have went to, you know, touching my thigh, touching anything. Like, you never know. That's why you just want to let people know that you don't want to be touched. But going from ego and boundaries, comparing and contrasting those two, the different situation where it would be more or less ego and not boundaries would be if he's simply just trying to talk to me and I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. I'm trying to act like I'm too good for a man to flirt with me. Like, that's ego. That's literally ego. Like, don't try to be mean to a man that's trying to talk to you like, oh, I got a wife and get on my face. All of that. For what? You're not even that cute. Like, I don't even know if you that cute, but I'm saying it for him. Like, girl, you're not even that cute. Don't do that. Don't put your ego in front of your boundaries and try to spit it out like, oh yeah, this is just my boundaries. Girl, no, it is not your boundaries. That's your ego. You're scared, and that's your way of reacting. But anyway, an illusion could be you acting out of trauma. Most times when you haven't fully healed from all of your traumas, then you lead with aggression. We want to lead with love. How can we recognize if we're leading with aggression because of unhealed trauma? We can recognize that by your reaction, y'all. Clear example on that. Story time. You know I love a good story reference. I went to drop my baby off by my child's father recently. And it was time for me to pick him up. I went to go pick him up. We was beefed out at this point or whatever. And we was like fussing. But when I got to the house, I didn't say 2 words. I just stood at the door. I did tell like my mom and them that like I wanted to fight. That was like the end thought in my head. I just wanted to fight. And then I wouldn't care about it no more. Aggression. And when we act out of aggression, we have not healed. And honestly, I have not healed from my child's father situation, y'all. I love that man. I felt like I could change that man for the longest. After being cheated on since I met him, I still to this day feel like one day he gonna change and want to really be a family. One day he gonna change and this is all he gonna want to do. One day he's gonna want to really read into the Bible and understand the values of a man and understanding what is a man, you know. But anywho, back to the story. I'm unhealed from that situation. I went to the door. He was saying a couple things under his breath, and how I reacted let me know that I was not healed from this situation. And I need to heal from this situation because I just threw my phone down and I said, let's fight. But why did I act out in anger? Was it really because he was calling me out my name and cursing and, you know, calling me a bum Alexander? That the real reason that I acted that way? No, it's not. It's not. I acted the way I acted. I wanted to fight because I haven't healed from his situation. Because had I been healed from that situation, I would have never walked up to the door to be the one to get the baby and I was going to call my mama. I would have sent my mama to the door to go get the baby. But because I'm unhealed and because I'm still processing all of that, I went to the door. I went for drama. I led with aggression He opened the door. I wanted to fight. It was already on my mind. So after that situation, I prayed. I had to understand that it does not define me. It does not change me as a person. It does not change my character. It won't change my character now. It won't change my character then. People can feel how they want to feel, because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that I was completely in the wrong, because he shouldn't have been calling out my name in the first place. But I can't recognize where I went wrong. You get what I'm saying? But with that being said, that's how I understood and recognized and figured out that I haven't fully healed from that situation. So that was that. Next, a blockage can usually mean going to an emotion. A blockage can be an emotion that you have to go back to heal. Why did I say that, and in what reference do I mean that? I say that because you can have a blockage in like the love department, right? Like me, I have a blockage in the love department because I have abandonment issues. I have to keep going back to my abandonment issues every relationship I get into, because I haven't fully healed from it. So every situation where I try to give myself to somebody, I have to go back to my trauma of abandonment issues, and I have to heal from it every single time, because I'm so scared of being abandoned by someone else that I would drop them first, or I'm so scared that I'm gonna abandon you that I don't even want to try. Like, if I be scared off of Instagrams, I promise you, sometimes a guy can be fine as hell finding me. Look at me finding me. He can be fine as hell following me, and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I can't trust it. Red flags. And I won't even give you a chance. You could DM me 300 times, I won't give you a chance, because I know I'm going to abandon you and I want to save you. And I feel like I do that to a lot of people. I have it really, really bad where I abandon people, and that's why everybody could kind of say they got a connection with me in some type of way. Like, yeah, the whole city probably say they love Shy. You ain't got no reason but to love me. I'm genuine as hell. I'm genuine as fuck. You ain't gonna meet nobody like me. And then when you do meet somebody like me, they probably actually trying to be like me. So I'm just different. That's just what it is, honestly. Lastly, I want to say that toxic situations can create spiritual blockages. With that being said, me continuing to deal with my toxic situation got me in a long-term blockage with my life, a long-term blockage with myself, because I didn't put myself first, because I was too busy worried about that toxic situation. And it created blockages, and it also created spiritual blockages. So I'm praying every night, but I'm still dealing with the toxicness. I'm still feeding into the toxicness. I'm still, egging that on, but I'm praying. Now I created a whole spiritual blockage, because not only are you praying for change, you're engaging in what you're praying for change from. How are you going to do that? So like, you praying to God to remove all these evil people around you, and yet you call an evil person the next day to hang out. What? I'm just as confused. So it's really, that's what it is. Toxic situations can create spiritual blockages. Don't put yourself in a toxic situation. Recognize a toxic situation before it becomes too toxic to where you're not putting yourself first. Recognize a toxic situation before it gets to a point where you are no longer focusing on yourself and it throws you off of your path. Recognize a toxic situation before it becomes a blockage, whether it's a spiritual blockage, an emotional blockage, a physical blockage. Just recognize the things that you need to heal from. So you can put yourself first, focus on you, focus on your journey and your path, and you can successfully make it through your 20s. Your life, actually. That's all I got for episode 6 of They Want the Real. Today's episode was my little mental health check-in. I also hinted a little bit on some other topics, and it's only up from here. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also don't forget to shop with me, Shyyeyesbeautybar. You get your bundles and all your hair needs. Thank you.